So let's continue from here. 4.3 strategic exits. This is one way of coming out of the business part. So probably if we talk about LG, it did not come totally out of the business, but it just went away with one division relating to mobile phones. But it's strong enough in other areas also, right? So we'll discuss on strategic exits. Actually reduces the scope of its activity. I want to highlight this one. It's not completely exiting, leaving some areas which may be always problematic. And I may be trying to diagnose the problems, and probably I may not be getting enough solutions for this, or I maybe have better solutions for other cases. So in that case, I need to go for other strategies, and this type of strategy is what you call as the retrenchment strategy. Probably because you don't have the material, you can just have a return of the code words, the vocabulary is okay. So we are highlighting reduces and retrenchment. Other things and all you can manage. So what happens is how I'm going to reverse the process of decline. It should not decline. So obviously, as a business, I have to show the profit to the shareholders. Ultimately, the shareholders are expecting what? The return on investment. So they will be thinking, what is your plan? How you are going to proceed, and so on. So here I have to focus completely on how to reverse the decline. So how I'm going to reverse the decline. So it may be resulting as turnaround strategy. Okay, turnaround means I'll just go and check, which means retrenchment is different and turnaround is different. Turnaround means I just take the prior processes. I'll check what is happening in there, what are the reasons for the decline in each and every process, and I'll be trying to overcome that. Okay, that may be related to loss-making units or some divisions. It may be, or sometimes it goes with strategic business units also. What do you mean by strategic business units? Means for see my business may be having different products to be manufactured, but I need to define each and every strategy differently for each and every product. Okay, if I talk about ITC, sorry, we are in Mahindra, right? If I talk about Mahindra has to decide in a different way for providing steels for Jeep. Okay, this is the main raw material provider. It has to have a different strategy for them. In case if it is manufacturing the passenger vehicles, car and other vehicles, then it has to think in a different way because there not only the body and the stability matters, it also matters with respect to the luxury, the style, the luxury of the car and other things. So the strategy will be different. So we know about this digital marketing strategy. So it first launches before launching the product, it first brings the photos outside. So that should be a different strategy. So aerospace, I need a different strategy. For utility vehicles in defense, it need a different strategy. So each and every product needs a different strategy. So Mahindra and Mahindra will be considering this as strategic business unit, separate unit where we need to have separate strategies. Okay. Probably we may be planning for reversement or diversifying. So any other thing like, and how we are going to abandon also, that also be considered. Okay. So we'll deal with the first one, turnaround strategy. It may be done internally or externally. When we talk about retrenchment, it may be done. Retrenchment is totally retrenching. Turnaround is you just go to the reverse process and you check. When we say internal retrenchment, we lay on improving internal efficiency. That's what you call as turnaround strategy. So we are improvising our process. So retrenchment and turnaround, you cannot say it's totally different, but we want to get away with something. We call it as retrenchment. So we go back to the process and we check what is the declines happening, why it is happening. Then we'll go for the internal efficiencies improvement. Then we'll talk about turnaround strategy. Okay. So you cannot say exactly they are saying, but so let me continue with turnaround strategy. So it may be related to internal or external. The retrenchment may be done internally or externally. If we talk about improving the internal efficiency of an organization, we say this as a turnaround strategy. So we are here now. See, each and every time we cannot talk about turnaround strategy. There are some certain conditions or this point of time, it may be giving some indication for the company to survive. We need to have this strategy to be taken over. So it looks like danger signals. When probably you can easily guess, see all these ones. I'm getting negative cash flow, not on a sudden, persistently, continuously. Okay. The products and services are there and it's not competitive. If the product is not competitive, we cannot talk about strategy here. Okay. Probably because you may be saying that how we have the ITC doing this veggie wash product, vegetable wash liquid. Because it need to sustain in the FMCG, it need to have all the products, but it may not be competitive. So there may be some other reason for that. Okay. My market share is declining. So why I need to have this product? So let me go away from this. Physical facilities are deteriorated. So deteriorated means not in hand. Okay. Overstaffing or high turnover of employees or the employee side is not okay, low morale. So these are the cases and yes, obviously mismanagement. So these are the reasons why we need to go for taking this retrenchment strategy, particularly with turnover strategy. Even though we call this as retrenchment, we call this as turnover because we are internally focusing on our business. Okay. So action planned around turnaround strategy. So how we are going to make it implemented. Okay, stage one, you just assess what are the problems. See, when you go for the strategy, when you have problems, diagnose the problems. So stage one is you go for assessing the current problems. Not you go and check what is the damage happened, but please get to the root causes. Okay, please get to the root causes. What's happening? Once the problem is identified, then you focus towards those areas you have to work efficiently so that you go for correcting and repairing any immediate issues. If this correcting and repairing is not at all possible, then this turnaround strategy is not helpful. Obviously, what you have to go? You have to exit from the business. That's the most suitable way. After finding all these, how you can correct and so on, you analyze the situation, what is happening around us, and you develop a strategic plan. So you're going to take some major changes. So we'll just determine what are the chances are there. You identify appropriate strategies. Then you go for developing a preliminary action plan. And this we have to look for the viable core business. Yes, very, very important. Please highlight this line or something. Why I'm saying this is very, very important is I'm doing so much, but this is my core business. If you talk about Mahindra Group, this is more core business, steel. Mahindra's group is Mahindra Steel is just a core business. If I'm working all these things for my core business, it's fine. It's a very small product, it's a baby product, and if it has its future in the future, then it's fine. But it is not a good core. Then why I need to put so much of effort? Not necessary. Okay. So please check whether this is a viable core business and you have adequate bridge financing. Okay, you know what's bridge financing? Very simple, bridging the gap. See, how the company, probably not directly related to strategy management, but at least you need to know bridge financing is to match the gap, we just borrow some loans or something like that. Okay, so probably how the company gets money, then the very first beginning from the capital. But if you see or if you check for the balance sheets of many companies, the figures for share capital will be very, 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 very small. But whereas the debentures, the long-term borrowings, or the deposits will be high. Okay, most of the companies run their business because of the debt capital. Okay. The main reason because why we have the equity capital less and debt capital more is the main reason is if I bring all the equity shareholders or preferred shareholders inside, they become the owners of the company and even though the management is running the business, we have to take the resolutions fast, favorable or unfavorable. So we cannot decide on our own. So that's why what they do is they go for debt capital. But another one problem with debt capital is how far I'm going to manage this debt capital. Who will give loan to me? Probably I need to have that background. Okay. So we'll just check whether we have this adequate bridge financing and whether we have this organizational resources, maybe with respect to raw material or employees or all these things. Okay. See, if this is the thing happening behind, if it is of mismanagement, then we have to go for replacing the management. So if it's not possible means then you why you develop all these things. Okay. And you have to analyze the strength and weakness in the areas of the competition and you go for once the opportunities are identified, develop a strategic plan and specific goals and detailed functional actions. Actually, it should not be in paragraph. If it is in point by point, it will be easy, but it's given in paragraph. Okay. Then we go for stage three. Now we have developed a strategic plan. Now we go for implementing this action. Please highlight this is already business going down. We have to do it immediately. So that's why it's called as implementing an emergency action plan. This is a critical stage. You have to stop the bleeding so the organization will go for surviving. Probably that may be including the plan, may be including human resource, availability of human resource, or financial side, or marketing side, or operation side, or how you're going to restructure the debts. Restructuring of debts. The creditors, if we are not able to match the debt, or if we are not able to repay the money, obviously we'll go for a meeting. We call it as committee of creditors will be formed, and what we will do is we'll ask them, we will give one part of the share to you. Okay, convert those debt as shares. Converting debt capital into equity capital. This, the committee of creditors will be there and also the organization will be there. They both will be working. On the other way, sometimes government, if it has given loan or government, if it has taken any steps towards providing any support, financial support to the organization, then government, what it will do is government will automatically say, give me share capital because it's the government. But in the case of other creditors, other than the government, obviously creditors and management will be have a team heat and they will go for okay. So this is what you call as restructuring of debts. You improve working capital, you reduce the cost, improve budgeting practices, improve the product. Improve means shaping. Okay, shape the product lines and accelerate potential products and everything. So which products is having high potential, which means high future in the future. So I can go for that one. Okay. And it should be established as quickly as possible. I want to highlight this word emergency and as quickly as possible. You cannot wait. You should not wait also. Okay. Shall I go for stage four? Stage four, now we go for restructuring the business. Obviously, main thing happens here with the financial statement. So how it is being damaged and how we are going to go for the overall. So you go for preparing. So how it is done? Stage four. You go for preparing cash forecast, analyze assets and debts, what you have. Then you go for reviewing the profits and other key functions, whatever it is. Okay, this is like a four sub steps. Like, and please highlight this is one important para. Okay, this is in page number 4.20. Why I'm highlighting this is this may be expected as case study. Okay, some two or three lines will be given, and you may be expected to write what type of a strategy is this one. So here, during the turnaround strategy, the product mix may be changed. I may not be giving the same product. The product mix may be changed. So the organization is now pushed to do some repositioning in the products. So I might be giving a different hierarchy or different list in my products. Some core products neglected over time may require immediate attention. Please highlight turnaround strategy is not about all the products, it's about core products. So if a question is given, there is product A, product B, product C. Product A and product B are core, product C is non-core. They are suggesting a turnaround strategy. You being a strategic advisor, what you decide? C is not the core product. You need not go for turnover strategy. So this is going to be your consulting. Okay. So you may withdraw from certain markets to make organization leaner. Yes, please highlight this one also. It's not like you're going to close something. Sometimes you're not going to close completely, but what you're going to do, you're going to withdraw, not completely withdrawing, but completely withdrawing from some specific area. Probably my organization I'm dealing with all over India. I may be planning to restrict myself where I plan only for these things. Okay. So the organization is becoming leaner now, or it's targeting its product towards a different niche. You know what do you mean by the term niches? There'll be some special connection. So you'll identify that type of a connection. So morale building is another important ingredient also, which means we need to, because if it is of employee side angle and there is low morale, we need to boost them up. We have to motivate them. So we'll go for rewards and compensation systems and so on. Then we go for stage five. Now you bring back to your normal position. This is the final strategy. And how do you know we have come to the normal state? Because it will show signs of probability. It will show a good return on investments. Okay. And obviously economic value addition also will be, and also sometimes we will be adding new products in the product mix and we'll be creating alliances with other organizations and we'll be increasing the market share. So what are the danger signals? And all those danger signals has to get reversed. If it's not getting reversed, it's not returning to normal. So we cannot come to stage five. Okay, stage five is we are away from the danger signal. It has to show that way. Okay, so that's about this one. So important elements that has to be considered. If it is goes with respect to mismanagement, what will be your signal? What you're going to perform here for? Because of mismanagement, you're going to change the top management. So you might be hearing some news like a CEO was changed, or there is a new chairman of the organization. This is because we need a change over there. See, you cannot take a chance. You cannot say that we'll wait for another 1 quarter and we'll change. No. Already we have waited, and it's almost we are visiting the danger signal. We have to change it. If we are not changing, we in the sense that if the other management is not changing, then obviously the shareholders they will move away from us. So that has to be taken care of. Initial credibility building action should be there. So how far you're going to get the pressures and how you're going to manage. That's what neutralizing external pressures. Identifying payoff activities. We take immediate actions. Quick cost reductions, revenue generation, asset liquidation for generating cash. The better internally. This is what you call as bridging the gap, restructuring the debt. Restructuring the debt or bridging finance. Okay, that time I need some facilities. Okay, see, debt capital is there, equity capital is there. Apart from that, the company itself has a source. Sometimes asset has to be liquidated to get to generate cash because always we cannot expect the others to provide cash to us because it's a very lengthy process. It will not happen immediately. Okay. Shall we go for the second strategy? So first one is turnaround, which falls under retrenchment. Next is reversement strategy. Divestment, please highlight this. Sale or liquidation. It goes like this in order path. We'll go for turnaround. Turnaround is not working, or it's no use of developing this turnover strategy and implementing. Then what we do? We come out of the business. So either we sell it, or liquidate the business. That may be a portion of the business or the major division, whatever it is. It may be related to a profit center or SBU. It can be of any form. Okay. So it's usually a part of rehabilitation or restructuring plan. Please highlight this word also. These words are important. Rehabilitation or restructuring plan and is adopted when a turnaround has been attempted but has proved to be unsuccessful. Please highlight. Don't think I'm going line by line, word by word here. It's necessary. That's why I'm slowing down. So these are important words. So there are two moves when we discuss about the investment strategy. One is about selling or you go for liquidating. That may be related to portion of a business or any major division or any profit center. Even a profit center also may be needed. Okay. Or any particular strategic business unit. So when we talk about this investment, we talk about rehabilitation or we develop a restructuring plan and it is adopted when the turnaround strategy is not successful. So it goes in hierarchy. Directly go, you will not see. Building a business is so very tough. Restructuring is easy. See, restructuring means you know what is about the business, what is the danger signal, what is happening, and how we can expect the future. Everything can be done. So restructuring may be useful, but what happens to the building of business is so very tough. So you cannot directly go and say, okay, we'll close the business. You cannot do that. It's not so very easy. So that's why we try for turnaround. If that's not successful, then we'll go for this one. And the option may be even ignored if it is obvious that investment is the only answer. Yes, we'll check whether turnover is taken or not. Okay, turnover is not successful. Then why you go for turnover strategy? Please try to understand. I'm just checking whether turnover strategy may be helpful. If it is not helpful, then why go for step-by-step working on turnover? If it is not helpful, just move away from turnover and going. So it's two angles. One, you try the turnover strategy, and if it is not successful, go for development strategy. Another one is check whether turnover strategy will be helpful. If turnover strategy is not helpful, then we'll go for this one. Able to get it? Okay. So when you go for this reversement strategy, when there is a mismatch, so what your company needs and what is there, persistent negative cash flows, probably you should not get confused. The earlier thing also we saw related to persistent negative cash flows, here is also here. But persistent negative cash flows, we tried it, turnover strategy is not working. Now we try to work out it. So this reason happens for the both same. So creating the need for divestment, severity of competition, yes, LG. It's making everybody are making mobile phones, and one company three four brand names. So why we need to focus on mobile phones? So LG came out very successful. Okay, it did not lose its name. Actually, it got a credit because many other products are equally manufactured in this name. Okay, so severity of competition, or it may be another one case where we cannot cope with to the firm so that we have to diverse, and it's not possible for the business to go for technological upgradation. So that's also said. Okay, and better alternative for investment is we diverse. See, it's a very beautiful one. See, when we talk about business, each and every business is not talking about making profit. Each and every time when they have a discussion, they talk about making the loss less. Then only they talk about profit. So this is a very important point. So better alternative when we want to go for investment. Okay, already one is not in an existence stage or already one is falling down. Let us completely diversify that and we go for new one. Okay. Okay. So characteristics involves divestment activities like you go or with the sum of the portions or sell out some of the business or whatever. Some of the business is some of the all business activities. Okay. So it's an integral part of corporate strategy without any sigma attached. What are the main reasons for turnaround? What is this heading over here? What is turnaround strategy over here? Are they making any comparison? Okay. Probably it has to go to the earlier heading, I think. Some mismatch in the page number. Okay. Because I get the same name. It's repeated. Persistent negative cash flows. So we are, see, it seems to be repeated, right? There's a mismatch. So you can strike it out. No issues. Yeah, it's the same repeated. So we're happy now. One page is over. Okay. So standard strategy only relevant to loss-making business means probably it's relevant when we expect a period of poor performance. So it does not mean losses. Please highlight this one also. We're not talking about losses. We are talking about poor performance. Okay, so this is one a good one. Okay. So shall I go for the next heading? 4.4 on strategic options. We need chart like we'll talk about these tables now. We'll call this as matrix arrangements. You know about matrix? We'll have different cells, row arrangements and column arrangements, and we're going to talk about all these arrangements. Okay. So we'll go for strategic options. So when we say strategic options, we'll talk about the existing product, we'll talk about the innovations, what is our future product, what is our future market, everything and all, but we are not going to go in detail. Okay, we are just going to discuss about four or five matrix only. So these are all basic intro. Yeah, I'll go for this line. Why we need to go for this portfolio approach? Probably we are in a multi-product business or we are doing multi-business like Mahindra and Mahindra. So this may be the case. So for a diversified company, they need to divert resources. So which as manufacturing steel, I cannot give all the steel for the Jeep company. I cannot give all the steel for defense unity. Depending on the priority, have to give the steel, which I'm going to manufacture for my own indigenous vehicle or I'm going to use it for defense or whatever it is. Okay, so I have to divert the resources accordingly. So to design the portfolio, the management must analyze what is the current situation and how it's going to design which receive more or which receive less, or we need to have more investment or okay. The first matrix here is about hands-off matrix. Let me go over the matrix, then I'll come for the intro part and all. So you just go for this matrix. It's a 2 by 2 cell matrix, which means two rows and two columns. It's focusing on one side is the product and one side is the market. The product may be existing market, which is existing, or innovative side. So new market, sorry, new product. Also, when you talk about existing market and new market, which means that maybe the innovative market. See, already your product is existing in the existing market, then we have to talk about something called as market penetration, which means we have to become more strong. Okay. If you go about, so let me name the cell as cell one. Or if I go about this second cell, where the market is existing, but your plan is to go inside the new market, probably Toyota and Ford. So Toyota was planning to go inside the US market. That's already an existing market. Okay, that's a market for the vehicles, automobiles. But what Toyota was doing for it is a new product because it has to develop a new product. That's how Innova grows. Okay, they are giving a good engine for 5 lakh kilometers. You have to develop a new product. Market is existing, but you have to develop your product accordingly because there are buyers for it. Let me go for the third cell. New markets, existing products. Products are existing. I'm going to enter into a new market. Again, you can go for the same example. Okay. Existing product. What is a product? I'm automobile industry. Okay, but the market is US, new market. Okay. Then it goes for fourth one, you totally diversify. You don't talk about market, you don't talk about product, which means what? New market, new product. Both are new. New market and new product. This is how a hands-off definition for this matrix. And depending on this product and market, it's a row column. That is, this is a column, and this is for row. Talks about the growth matrix. So it's a two-dimensional figure, two-dimensional matrix. One is for product and one is for kit. Okay, so now let me go over here. So it's proposed by either hands-off useful tool. Okay, it's not a normal thing. Either will be planning for new or existing product in both new or existing one. You can use your own words. Don't just go for word by word. And we call this grid or we call this cell as a portfolio planning tool to identify what's the growth and what's my opportunity over the company. So that's why Toyota was waiting for some 2 hours and when was checking what's the weakness of four. Okay, so we'll go for market penetration refers to a growth strategy. Okay, focusing on selling existing products into existing market. That's about market strategy, market penetration is. So how are you going to do this? How are you going to penetrate inside the market? Probably you're going to spend more on advertising or you go for personal spelling, okay, selling. Or you go overcome the competition. Probably you go for aggressive promotional campaigns and all. Okay, and you maybe doing with a pricing strategy. Probably they'll give a 20% discount on price, not on. See, we have two types of discount. One is product discount and one is money discount. We are talking about money discount. Pricing strategies on money discount, not a product discount. Okay. So sometimes you may make the product unattractive also for competitors. And it's done by increasing usage by existing customers. Please highlight this one. Yes, can you please make a note of it? Other things are not, you will manage. I want to highlight this one. Actually, it's not very important or I'm deviating. Actually, market penetration is happening in existing market and existing product, which means there are customers. You're not bringing new customers inside. Please highlight. Even though it's a growth strategy, there are customers. You're just keeping your customers. You're not bringing new customers. Is it okay? So Gucci, a luxury clothing brand, selling his luxury clothing in European markets with new designs is market penetration. See, new designs, not new product, new designs. Okay. Hope is okay. Shall I take over? Shall I take over? Next is market development. So market development here refers to a growth strategy only. So these all falls under growth strategy where you're selling is existing product into new markets. Okay. So it's a strategy where you have to identify and develop the new markets for current company products. I need to highlight this word. See, existing product is current product. So current company's products. So how are you going to achieve this? By entering into new geographical markets and also you will go for new product dimensions, new packaging is so many things are available. New distribution channels may be, different pricing policies may be, and you're going to attract different customers. Please highlight. I request you to make a note of this word. So you need to understand which growth strategy you're going to utilize. That is market development or market penetration. If it's market penetration, existing customers, the code word. Yeah, that's a hint. When you talk about market development, different customers or different, or you're creating new market segment is a code word. Okay. Again, Gucci in Chinese market. There in European case with new designs, here in new market, Chinese market. Okay. Shall I go for the third one? Product development refers to growth strategy only, where it aims to introduce new product but existing market. Okay, so obviously new product and existing market means you'll go for current markets. Okay, modifying or you're totally bringing a new product to the current markets. Is it okay, ma'am? So again, Gucci selling casual clothing in European markets. Okay, then diversification, completely new product and completely new market. Okay, so Gucci here selling like casual clothing in Chinese market. So new casual clothing is new product and Chinese market is a new market both way. So you can just take this example for granted. Okay, so a good example only. Okay, so this strategy is risky. Please highlight because it's not relying on either company successful product or is position in established markets. So it's moving into market which has little or sometimes no experience at all. So when we talk about M&M or ITC, when they start a new product in the new market, it's completely they are opting this diversified strategy, which means they have no experience. But once they have entered, they will be gaining experience, which will be helpful for developing new products in new markets for others. Okay. So as market conditions over time change, so they have to shift for this product market growth strategy. So diversification will be helpful. If a company is having a diversified strategy, then definitely the company somehow or the other it will not loses. Okay. So that's about hands-off ADL matrix derived from the name Arthur D. Little. So in short, we call it as ADL. So it's also a portfolio analysis techniques. Portfolio means combination. That's what we call as portfolio. Based on, please highlight, based on product life cycle. Okay. Probably how far my industry is maturing and what is my competitive position. And maybe with respect to the environment assessment, I may be planning, or the business strength, I may be planning. So overall, if you talk about the industrial maturity, we are talking about the environmental measure. Okay. So where we check for categorization of products or the SPUs, that is strategic business units, we'll talk about five competitive position. So you need to check where you stand in this market. Okay. You may be a dominating one. Okay. Or you may be strong enough. So when it say about steel, first stands Tata Steel only. Even though Mahindra and Mahindra is well versed in steel, where this Mahindra has grown means Jagadish Chandra was working for Tata Steel. It's a very old company. Okay. So likewise, when we talk about Reliance, oil is the main one. Okay. So when we talk about oil, they are dominating. Okay. So I need to check whether we are dominant or strong. There is a lot of difference between dominating and strong. Dominating means if M&M fixes a price, I cannot go for M&M. I have to go for Toyota. Okay. Obviously, Toyota is not an Indian company. If Toyota fixes a price with the same model, with the same spec, probably the engine capacity may not be the same as Toyota. So the same model with the same spec, I need to give a pricing strategy where it is less than Toyota. Else, I'll not succeed. I need to have a automobile which is similar to Toyota, but I cannot afford for Toyota. So obviously, which one I'll go for? Okay. So dominant is such one. He'll be in the top position. He'll be the leader, and depending on the strategy, everybody will be designing another strategy. Okay. He'll be the trendsetter. Okay. When we talk about strong, he's in a strong position, which means he might be in first five or the top five or top 10 position, and he'll not leave that position. So competing with him is very tough. Like next is he'll be in favorable position, probably another top 20 between 11 and 20. So he'll be in favorable position, and this will be enable somewhat managing, and this is almost weak. So obviously, when I go for this weak position, I need to go for whether I continue the business or I just move out. So this is about 4 by 5 matrix. So competitive position, even though there are five competitive positions, we'll be discussing about dominant, strong, favorable. Actually, we're discussing all the five, I think. Yeah, tenable and weak. So this is five. Actually, it should not be, yeah, four. Embryonic, growth, mature, and aging. This is your level. See, this is whether you're leader or not, the five levels. This is where your company stands. You're in a dominant position, but you're just growing. So dominant position, right? Once it entered, it was in a dominant position, but it was just going, which means it is having a fast growth. Obviously, it is building barriers because if it sets a subscription amount, everybody is following that. It is building barriers. Okay, you cannot touch that position, and it acts offensively. So these are the main 3 points. From one point, we have to move to the other cells. If it is in growth stage, obviously it's fast growing only, and it will go for trying this cost leadership. So as I was telling, it will fix up a cost and it will define. Yes, we have to. It has to renew the business because it's in the see when we talk about product life cycle, it is this angle. Already I discussed with this one, I think, right? So this is the infant stage, then growth stage, then maturity stage, and the decline. It's the aging stage. So when my even though I'm dominant, I'm in this stage, then I have to go for the defending position. Why? I am in growth stage, but next level I'll be going in mature stage. I am in growth stage now, but obviously in some other period of time, I'll be definitely going to the mature stage. So my position is to defend at that time because I need to sustain in the industry. But while entering into the mature stage, if I go for defending position, I cannot make myself through because the period will be very less. So before going to the mature stage, this is what I'll go for. I'll go for defending. Okay. So obviously go for attempt cost leadership, revenue, fast grow, and act offensively. More or less the same points. You cannot just split this is growth stage or mature stage. This is depending on the thing. Okay. There is aging. Obviously, you defend position, you ready, you focus. Yes, this is one point included, and you consider for withdrawal. Okay, you need to consider for withdrawal. So all these points has to be considered. So let me come again. Let me come again. Let me go in this angle. Fast growth, fast growth. It stops over here. Okay. Then fast growth becomes the leaf zone because it will not grow after that. It's already in mature stage. Act offensively, act offensively because you are the dominant person. You have to act offensively. You have to be very strong in your worries and other things and all. If you withdraw in any stage, then you are in the aging position. Consider withdrawal. Okay. Then let me circle it. Defend position, defend position. You will not talk about defending position when you are in the growth stage because you're just growing. But when you are in the mature stage, that is growth stage and mature stage, you have to talk about defending position. And during the aging position, you have to defend your position because you are in the dominating stage. Okay. So these green things are the highlights. So let me go now comparing dominant and strong together. You're strong because you're differentiated from the products. How Toyota and Mahindra is differentiating its products. Okay, how Toyota and Ford is differentiating its products. Somehow or the other, you have to show some differentiation. That may be related to price, that may be related to any product or whatever it is. Yes, obviously fast growth will be there because you will be planning to go in a dominant position. You may be in a strong position now, but obviously what you will be planning? You will be planning to go for a dominant position. Okay, you differentiate, you lower the cost and you attack small firms. You cannot go and fight with the dominant person, right? So this dominant person had to act offensively because it isn't a dominant position. But what strong position can do? It cannot go for the higher one. It can go to the lower one. So it go for attacking small firms. Is obviously lower cost, focus, differentiate, grow with the industry. Please highlight. Yes, I request you to highlight. Grow with the industry. Grow with the industry. So if you are in a mature stage, you cannot plan different things. Obviously, what you have to do, you have to grow along with the industry. See this orange light. We call this as signals. Okay, orange means you have to be careful. Like find niche, whole niche. There will be some link. You are aged now, but you are in a strong position, which means you can do wonders. So you can go for next level also, but not with the same product, but with a different product. So you find that link. Find niche, whole and harvest. Get ready for harvest. Let us finish off this one. Favorable, differentiate, focus, fast growth. See, all these comes differentiate and fast growth. But one thing is you have to focus extra. Let me clean the board for convenience sake. Okay, from here. The one extra thing you have to do here is you have to focus. But what the strong company do, they focus only in the mature stage. But what the favorable option company does, it focuses in the earlier stage itself because only it's in favorable position. Let me come this way. My company is a strong position company. In the growth stage, I'll be attacking small firms. And this favorable position company is a small firm for them. Okay. So focus, differentiate, and defend. And this mature stage, everything is put. See, focus. This one here. Differentiate. Okay. Harvest here. Find niche. Whole niche. You go for turnaround. Please highlight this one. You go for turning on. You have to check if anything is missing or how I have to grow over here. Grow with the industry over here. The same thing. See, if you just okay with the 2 points or two cells, then you can manage this one. Okay. And hit smaller firms. Obviously, I cannot go as strong with a strong person. Okay. Harvest. turnover. Red. This is red in color. Okay, which means what? Danger signal. Okay. So you remember when we're talking about the turnaround strategy, we were talking about the danger signals. So we have to check whether my position is competitive over here. Already I'm aging. I'm not strong position. So how can I expect to be in competitive position? So let me come out of the business. Okay. Enable somewhat you're managing. We have to grow along with the industry. The problem is here. If the industry grows, you grow. If the industry is not growing, okay. And you have to focus. See, this orange is this orange. Hold niche, turn around, focus, grow in the industry. Here also you plan for withdrawal. Orange one. Orange is the signal. Either you can go for green or you can go for this one. Then turn around, hold niche, retrench. Retrench may be external or internal. At last you go for diversifying or retrench. You are totally weak. There's no green at all. Only orange or red. And these three stages are red. Okay. So find niche, catch up, grow with industry, and here turn around. So just comes over here. Turn around, retrench, niche or withdraw. Find the niche or withdraw. Withdraw, reverse at last. Already a week. Okay, already a 90 plus years. Not able to stand at all. You need four legs to stand. Or obviously what you do? You withdraw. Now check in this angle whether this is going to happen for all the business. So if I am new to the industry, if I'm new to the market, then which means I'm weak. I'm at this stage, which means obviously my business will go for the growth stage, which means I'm going for the red danger signal. No, this is one angle of discussion. Another angle of discussion is probably I am weak now. Okay, I am in age that is in the infant stage, but at one point of time, I may not be travel this way. I may be traveling this side, or I may be traveling this side also. It's like three dimensional. I may be still in the infant stage, but my position is now enabled. See, this is how the industry will grow, right? Please try to understand. Now I am in peak stage, and I am in the infant stage, but one point of time, okay, if I go for drawing the graph, if this is my infant stage, okay, my infant stage is not yet over. At this point of time, I'm becoming enable. I'm becoming more stronger. Now you're not in this stage now. You are in this stage, green, which means what? You can either go for orange or you can become favorable or you can go over here. Again, my graph now in enable stage. I'm still in infant stage. I'm still over in the first stage itself. I'm still not yet complete in the infant stage. I can plan myself, I can become favorable. Okay. Again, now my infant stage is over. Okay, where I am, my infant stage is over. The stage is over. Now I'm in the second portion. Which stage is this? Growth stage. Either in the growth stage, where I'm now favorable and growth stage. I cannot go here now because already I'm in the growth stage. I cannot go for the infant stage back. Either I can go over here, or if I'm not planning properly, I may be pushed to this stage during my maturity age. So I may be planned for the during this period itself, during the growth stage itself, I can go become a strong player, or during the next stage, I may become a strong player. Okay, so you can just have a look on this one. So this is ADL strategic condition matrix. What is with respect to that? This is called as 4 by 5 matrix. So 20 slides you will have. You cannot memorize all the points over here. You have to have a link, else it will not be an easy job. So 4 is with respect to the business life cycle or product life cycle, and this 5 is the position of the 5 competitive position of the. So just sort of highlight. We'll go for what is the dominant position and strong position. I'm not going in detail because I already have discussed on this. I just want to highlight this term. Dominant is being monopoly or strong and protected. See, not just strong. This is how you differentiate. Dominant means monopoly, but monopoly is a very rare case because monopoly status is against competitive actions. So, if as per the competitive act, you cannot become a monopoly except the government. Okay, so in this case, or a strong and protected technological leadership may be a dominant position. Like, okay, when you go for a strong, probably you will have considerable degree of freedom. You can go for your own choices because you are strong enough. You can try all the other ways. When you talk about favorable, yes, you want to become a market leader, so you plan accordingly. You stand or you compete. If you are in tenable, you perform satisfactory. Okay, somewhat going on. You can manage the business. So such a way it goes on. And when you go for a week, almost you have to improvise, else you go for out of the industry. Okay. Shall I go for the next one? Boston Consulting Group. It's quite a famous one called as PCG Matrix. Here, two cells, that means two dimension. One is about growth and one of them is about share. The first one we were discussing with respect to product and market growth. You remember new product, existing product, new market, existing market. Here we are discussing about the growth and share of the business. Probably I'll go for the cell here first. What is your share, a relative market share, and what is the market growth? If your share is high in the market and growth is also high, you're a star in the business. Mobile phone companies. Obviously, so many brands are there, but they are still the star in the business. Okay. One step here. Market growth is low, but you have a very high market. நல்ல கரெக்டா மாடு சொல்லுவாங்க. So cash goes, cash goes. If you go for this one, market growth is high, but your share is low. So what are you going to do? Okay, here, fourth one is a beautiful one. This is low, market growth. And also, your share is low. That's it. The dog is a cute one, right? Only if the dog barks, we'll know, oh, yes, there is a dog. There is a product in the industry. Yes, everybody will forget. This is about the picture dog. But cash flow is, that's about the cash flow. Okay. So let me go for the lines before and after this table. It's quite an easy content. So growth show matrix will have cow and dog metaphors. It's metaphors. We are relating it. Okay. And vertical axis representing market growth and provides a measure of market attractiveness. Horizontal axis market share and company measure as well company strength. Okay, how far you are occupying the market. So stars or products or SBUs, please highlight that grows rapidly. It's your products or you have a separate SBUs. So it's having a fast growth. So also because they're having main products like they are stars, like they have to maintain the position. If you are not maintaining the position, they will not call yourself as stars. Okay. And they have to finance the rapid growth also. So obviously they have to go for expanding. So when you talk about stars, we'll talk about the expansion as a strategy. When you go for cash flows, low growth, high market share, they generate cash. Yes, high amount of cash will be needed, but have low cost. This is highlighted here. They are established, they are well successful, they need less investment to maintain their market share. In long run, when the growth rate slows down, then stars become cash cows. Okay. Question marks, sometimes called as problem children. Okay. If there are four children in your house, then one children will be always problematic. Same treatment will be given for four children, but one children will behave in a totally different way. This is what is question mark is. Now you repeat. This has not four children. This has three children and one children. You leave away the one child. You talk about the it's not happening in family. Okay, obviously in family they give more focus on this one children. So either you leave away this one or you take care of it. If you are leaving away, if it is left attended, then it becomes cash traps. Please highlight this one. If left attended, which means you're not caring about this one child, this one product. Obviously, what happens? All the cash will be trapped in them. It's like the cash flows actually feeding the person now. Because they're not going to generate cash. Please try to understand. Startup also will not generate cash flow. This is not a question mark. They don't know how to generate cash. Only the cash flows are feeding the other categories. Okay. So since growth rate is high, increasingly it could be relatively easier and obviously they will turn them to stars or to cash flows also. There's a high chance because here, let me come here. Let me come here. I'm in this state, right? Question mark. If my relative share becomes high, then I'll become a star. Okay. After star, I'll become cash cow. This is what the layer is. It looks like a sequential activity. Then we go for dogs. Yes, low growth, low market share, low business, low products. They may generate enough cash to maintain themselves if they bark properly. Okay, you might have seen these Pomeranian dogs. The barking will be cute, but it will not be strong. It will not be like a gigantic dog like. Okay, just for pet dogs. Dogs should be minimized by means of divestment or liquidification. Okay. Then post identification strategies. So after going for the strategies, what you're going to do? Either you're going to build or hold or harvest or divest. Actually, BCG matrix should be first, then we have to talk about ADL, but the order is different here. If you talk about BCG matrix first, then we'll come to know what you mean by harvest and what you mean by diverse. But actually, it's a normal term only. So we know the term diverse, right? Either you sell the business or liquidate the business. Okay. When you say harvest, you increase the short-term cash regardless of the long-term effect. You need not worry about it's immaterial. You need not worry about the long-term effect. But what is your ultimate aim? You go for harvesting, which means you try to increase the short-term cash. Okay. You try to hold, which means what? You're trying to preserve your market share. You build. Yes, you have to build for your strong future. Okay, so everybody will be planning in some other way. Yes, obviously, is this helpful? Yes, it can be sometimes difficult because this is a strategy or this is a matrix developed by the Boston Consulting Group. It's not applicable for everybody. See, they are defining as the businesses, star business or cash flow or question mark or dog. But is this okay for all the businesses? No. Each and everyone will be having a different one. So BCG matrix can be difficult. It's like the limitations. It is time consuming and it's costly to implement. So management may not be finding it easy. So it's difficult to define the strategic business units. How can you particularly get what is your market share or what is the market growth? You cannot say, right? Because environment is changing and changing. How can you fix yourself as cash flow? Okay, if you talk about cash flow, it's okay. But you're talking cash flows with respect to the growth of the market and the relative share of yours. So simultaneously, one will be going up, one will be going down, and how can you relatively fix yourself here as cash flow question? Okay, so this is one problem. So because of this thing, there may be some unwise expansions. You may be differently thinking. You may be entering into risky ventures and all. So this is a problem. Okay, then you can just go through this table a bit later. Let me go for the next table. General electric matrix is a stoplight matrix. Like you go for a traffic signal. So how you sense green light, you can go. So such a way that has been defined. So traffic control lights. So this model is also known as business planning matrix, or it is called as nine cell matrix. So it's a 3 by 3 matrix or GM. Okay. So you have green for go, amber or yellow for being caution, and red for stop. I request you to make a note of these lines. So you go for the table directly. Is there a table we have? Yeah. See, go for the attractiveness of the market, high, medium, low. Go for the business strength, whether it's strong or average or weak. The one we were discussing for ADL, 4 by 5. That's been synced here for 3 by 9. That's the only difference. Okay. Here, when you talk about the market attractiveness, for high and strong and average, you invest or expand. And also for medium strong, you invest and expand. So this three is related to green color, and this the diagonal one. Select or you earn. This is called low market share. Average may be the strength or you're totally weak. When you go for harvest or divest, which means you go for generating short-term cash flows or whatever it is, then it goes like a danger signal. If you are in the danger signal, you will be planning for the retrenchment, turnaround strategies or divestment strategies. So that's about the divestment or harvest. Okay, let me come here. These lines are very, very important for these points. So vertical axis indicates market attractiveness, horizontal business scale. Okay, market attractiveness is how we measure it. Depending on the size of the market, we just list it down. Market growth, industry profitability, competitive intensity, availability of technology, pricing trends also matters here. Okay, overall risk of returns, what is there in the industry, and opportunity for differentiation of products or services and demand variability also. This is all included over here. Segmentation and distribution structure. When you go for the business strength, you may be checking what is the market share, what is the market share growth rate, profit margin, and you talk about the distribution efficiency. You talk about the brand image also. Yes, definitely. There is a brand image, then obviously you have to sustain in the market to maintain a brand image. Okay. And how far you can compete on price and quality, customer loyalty, production capacity, how far you are technologically capable. That is, we'll talk about the state of our technology. Okay. Relative cost position and management planning. Whether the management is able to manage all these cases is not about mismanagement. Mismanagement is different. Management calendar. That's how far management is competent to behave in this situation. Okay. Whether they are well experienced or whatever. It's okay. I'm not going line by line. I request you to. So that's about this topic now. So let me close here. So chapter number 4 is done. So next class we'll go for a new topic. Thank you, Pa. Thanks for